tonight.
Hey, what's up guys? So as you can see in the title, today bringing you another Snapchat Q&A. So I asked you guys here on my Snapchat to ask me anything and everything. By the way, if you guys are not following me on Snapchat, just go down below, click that link if you're on a mobile device, or just go and follow me at Tregg. It is right here. Basically, you can find me on any social media website at Tregg. It's a pretty unique name, so I guess I have that going for me. But without any further ado, let's get into the Snapchat Q&A. Alright guys, so question number one comes from Whitney. She says, is Troy or Gladiator a better movie? I would say Gladiator is a better movie, but I enjoy watching Troy more. I love Brad Pitt, and I think that is one of probably his best movies. That's just my opinion. So I think Gladiator's the better movie, but I like watching Troy more. Out rules forever. If you could have any superpower, what superpower would you have, and which superhero fits your personality? I would say the superhero that fits my personality is probably Spider-Man or Peter Parker, just because like quick wit, different things like that. And then if I could have any superpower, what would I have? I would probably say super strength. Because, I mean, I already do the whole workout thing, so it'd be pretty cool to, like, be like me at 160 pounds and be able to bench press, like, I don't know, 46 million pounds. So, I think that'd be pretty cool. But, next question. Joseph Ward says, Yo, Tregg, what are your thoughts on Bradley Martin's new gym, Zoo Culture, and would there ever be a possibility of a Tregg Fisher vlog from inside Brad's gym? Love you, man. Peace. That would be sick if I ever did go to LA and worked out at Bradley Martin's new gym, Zoo Culture. If I did ever go there, I would absolutely 100% vlog that journey and that like experience there. However, what do I think about it? I think it's awesome. I think his gym is sick. It's like perfectly made for people like me, or people that are into powerlifting and bodybuilding and just being athletic and having fun and having that cool environment where everybody kind of has the same mindset. So that's my opinion on it, I guess. Absolutely think that his gym is sweet. So I'd love to go there someday though. Alright, Brett Fry says, my sister is still single. When are you guys gonna date? Why do you always ask me? Ask her. She's your sister. Alright, Logan Rogotsky says, what advice would you tell your teenage self? Also, what movie character do you identify with the most? I would say movie character I identify with the most, Aladdin maybe, because he's kind of like in a place where he doesn't want to be, and he's like trying to get where he does want to be. And I mean, I'm not going to like become a prince or like lie about who I am or anything, but just kind of like the foundation of who he is, I would say identifies with me. But then, what advice would you tell your teenage self? I would say pursue what you're passionate about without caring about what other people will think. I know so much of when I was a teenager, I was like, I kind of want to fit into these groups that, I don't know. I would say be unique, be yourself, follow your passions, and block out what other people's opinions are of you. Also, start YouTube or something before it becomes super oversaturated, because then you have a way greater chance of reaching more people. So I would say yes, do what you're passionate about and don't care what other people think. Alright, Guns and Stuff 100 says, what's a good question I should ask for your Q&A? I see, sir, you have turned the tables back on me. I would say, if you're not jacked, how do you take good Instagram pictures to make yourself look big? Angles and lighting. Look at that. I went from just a normal guy here doing a Q&A. Boom. Find the angles, find the lighting, and then you're set. So, I guess I answered your imaginary question. Plus the lighting was good here. I was just looking for an opportunity to do that, so sorry. Alright, next question. The Vinitude says, how much sodium is too much? Well, in my opinion, I think that maybe like plus 4,000 milligrams of sodium is too much. However, what you take in on an average, like every single day, is what your body will get used to and adapt itself to. So say you're taking in 2,500 milligrams of sodium every single day. If one day you take in 3,000, you're gonna be bloated. If one day you take in like 1,500, you're gonna feel pretty dry. The reason is your body, with sodium at least, will adapt to the levels that you take in on a normal day. So whatever your sodium levels are, track them on MyFitnessPal and then stay consistent. And if you do want to maybe drop your sodium levels to maybe get rid of some water weight, then you can do that, but just make sure you're staying consistent, your body will adapt. All right, Rem4020 says, weird, I know, but my friend dared me to ask, what is the hairiest part of your body and how much would someone have to pay you to have it waxed? The hairiest part of my body is my legs. And how much would someone have to pay me to have it waxed? Probably like 50 bucks. Like, if you guys have watched my channel from like a way long time ago, I used to actually shave my legs, which I have no idea why I did that. It made for so much more work. It was a pain in the butt, and honestly, I don't think it looks very good. I don't know why I did that. I also was like super curious to like track my quad growth, and I felt like I couldn't see my quads if like I had hair on my legs, which you obviously can if you have big enough quads. Like, just do more leg presses and squats and leg extensions. Like, you don't need to shave your legs, but yeah, there you go. Shorty Nguyen asked, what's your favorite movie that came out this year? My favorite movie that has come out this year, it's very close between two movies, but I would say Wonder Woman. And the reason I say Wonder Woman over Logan at this point so far in 2017 is because the theme of Wonder Woman, just in my opinion, was better than the overall theme of Logan. Well, is Logan a better movie? Absolutely. Logan was a much better movie. Logan is one of the quintessential superhero movies ever made, in my opinion. I think it is right up there with The Dark Knight. I really, really love Logan, but to sit down and watch and enjoy, like from start to finish, over and over and over and over again, would be Wonder Woman. Plus, it's so different. We have not seen a female-led superhero movie since like Elektra, and that movie sucked. So I would say Wonder Woman is my favorite movie so far this year. Plus, 2 hours and 20 minutes of watching Gal Gadot on screen. I could do that every day. Next question, Dylan Faith says, how much could you bench in your freshman and sophomore years of high school? I'm a sophomore, and last year I couldn't bench 95 pounds, and now I can bench 175 pounds for 3 reps. Well, that's awesome. Those are some really great strength gains, actually. So when I was a freshman in high school, I was really struggling to bench 135 pounds, which is just the bar and the plate. But by the end of my by the end of my freshman year going into my sophomore year, I was benching right at about 210 pounds. But I really did hit a peak, and I stopped caring about bench press when I graduated from high school. So my bench press is hardly better now than it was 5 years ago when I started college. So that's kind of depressing, but when I was a freshman in high school, I started not being able to bench 135, but by the time I was a sophomore, I could bench 210. All right, so Zeke A says, what advice would you give someone who is growing their YouTube channel? Consistency. Consistency is key. Also, providing quality content that people can take something away from, whether it just be pure entertainment, whether it be workout advice, diet advice, movie reviews, whatever. If you can provide something that is entertaining to watch throughout the duration of your video, if it's a 20-minute video and you only have like 3 minutes of like really cool content, then people aren't going to consistently watch and come back. But if you have like 3 minutes of really fun, like awesome content, then make your video like 3 or 4 minutes and really base it off that good content that you have. and also be consistent. If you're not consistent with your YouTube uploads, people are not going to know that they should be coming back and subscribing. Michael Mahipit says, how many sets and reps should I be able to do with a certain weight before I increase it? Also, if you had a gun to your head and you had to choose one song to sing and not mess up any words, what song would you choose? No anthems allowed. Mary Had a Little Lamb for sure, because I want to keep that short, I want to keep it sweet, and I want to make sure I for sure know all the words, because there is a gun to my head, I can't mess up. So probably Mary Had a Little Lamb, because you can just roll that off in like 30 seconds. And then how many sets and reps should I be able to do with a certain weight before I increase it? I would say it kind of depends on your goals. If your goals are like powerlifting based, when you can do a certain weight for maybe like 3 sets of 5, or like something like that, or 5 sets of 5, then bump up the weight until you can do that next weight for 3 or 5 sets of 5. That's just kind of a baseline, very simple way to kind of track when you should be upping your weight. But it does just kind of depend on your goals. But I would say if you can hit a pretty heavy weight, say it's like bench press, deadlift, or squat focused, if you can hit a weight for 5 sets of 5, then maybe it's time to move up and see what you can hit for the next 5 sets of 5. All right, so Chris Day says, hey man, my question for you for your channel is thoughts on Fear of Blood. Fear of Blood is, I think, the movie that Chris made. It's like a short little YouTube video thing that he made. He sent it to me on Snapchat one day. I would say you needed a post-credit scene, man. Tease that sequel. Layla Rand says, for the Q&A, want to make out? Maybe. Just kidding. Jacob Fight says, for the Q&A, how long did it take you to finally figure out how to fit your nutrition to your body's needs, calorie and macro-wise? I'm going on about 2 years of tracking this stuff and still cannot seem to get results I want. So I would say if you can't figure it out, first and foremost, maybe hire somebody that can help you kind of get on track and kind of figure it out for you, because it took me a long time. I started working out when I was in 8th grade, and I could not put size on. I mean, I graduated high school 5 years later at 134 pounds, and my freshman year of college, I lost weight. It wasn't until my sophomore year of college that I started to kind of figure things out, start to kind of figure out what I needed to do to put on size. So it was like a solid 5 or 6 years before I really started growing. But I would say if you can't figure it out yourself and you've been doing it for 2 years, it might be beneficial for you to maybe hire somebody that can help you get started, whether it just be kind of getting the basics down or having them help you for a longer period of time so that they can kind of figure it out along with you, and they're just not telling you do this, do this, do this, do this, but they're kind of teaching you along the way. So that's what I would recommend. By the way, I do offer online personal training and macro coaching. I could help you maybe get started. Maybe drop me a DM or something and we'll talk. Jack the Great 98 says, what up, Tregg? So I'm working on an intentionally bad 80s buddy cop movie, and I'm trying to think of the most stupid cliches to add. Any you could think of. Honestly, turn on any Arnold Schwarzenegger or any Sylvester Stallone or any of those cheesy action movies. Dude, it is ripe for the picking, so I would say check those out. And he sent a picture, and it says also, you're not off the hook yet, Tregg. It's a picture of Spirited Away. I get asked that every Q&A if I've seen Spirited Away. I have not yet, but the day I watched it, I said this in my last Q&A, the day I watched Spirited Away, I'm going to do an entire vlog just based on that movie, and I'll give you guys my full review and everything. So when I move to Florida, which maybe by the time this video is up, I will have already been moved into Florida. When I move there, I will do a full vlog, a full day in the life based around watching that movie. So I will be seeing it soon. Alright, so next question, Rocky XQ8 says, hey Mr. Fisher, what's up? Have you seen World's Strongest Man Full Day of Eating video? If yes, what do you think about it? I have not, unfortunately, but I can imagine it's a lot of food. And the second question is what is the difference between red meat and white meat? Do they have the same nutrition value? Last question, how often do you have a meal of fish? Thanks, bro. You are the best. Keep it up. Thank you. So I do not have fish very often, to be completely honest. And then do red meat and white meat, what's the difference, and do they have the same nutritional value? Honestly, off the top of my head, I don't really know. I'm thinking that white meat would be kind of like a leaner source than, say, red meat, because white meat's more like chicken and poultry, and then red meat would be more like beef and pork and things like that. So in my opinion, like my uneducated opinion, because I don't know the actual like dietary fact on this, but I would say that the real difference is probably like lean value. So that's just my simple guess or uneducated opinion. Next question, Iren Sunga says,
hey Tregg, so like I did leg day yesterday and I can't walk. Any tips?
Well, sounds like you did leg day right, because if you do leg day right, like the next day, like tomorrow, your second day off is probably going to be worse than the first day afterwards. Like those second day, like muscle soreness for me is always way worse than that first day. But I would say, you know, maybe take like an ice bath or something, get that lactic acid out of there. If you don't have access to that, just rest. Continue to hit legs when it's your next leg day. Don't just take like the next leg day off, because you still might be a little bit sore. Keep pushing yourself. Eventually you are going to get stronger. Eventually you are going to be able to push that soreness kind of away, because your legs will just be stronger and more conditioned. Next question, Ryan Barker says, have you ever thought about competing? Actually, I have thought about it. I've actually thought more about competing in powerlifting than like men's physique or anything like that, because I really do have a passion for like lifting heavy weights. So if I were to ever compete, it would probably be first in powerlifting, just because right now I don't really know if I want to take the time to get to that 5% body fat that it would take to step on stage and compete. Because for me, I'm still trying to, if I do a cut like I am right now, it's just going to be a slight deficit for 6 weeks or so. I'm just trying to like trim my body fat down a little bit and then get back into a bulk. So I'm always trying to consistently build muscle and get better in that sense. So to do a contest prep for somebody like me, it doesn't really fit my actual goals of getting bigger and getting stronger. So I would say if I were to compete in anything, it would be powerlifting. Max says, what's the best post-workout meal when you're on a budget? I think the best post-workout meal that you can eat when you're on a budget is probably just going and getting some cheap egg whites, some cheap ham, like cheap cheese or whatever, making a huge omelet with a ton of volume, and then like you're going to get a lot of protein in that meal. Depending on what kind of cheese, you're going to get a decent amount of fat and carbs. So you can build a fairly balanced post-workout meal in this huge omelet. You're getting a ton of volume, you're keeping the price relatively low, and it is a pretty good post-workout meal. Bree says, can we work out together when I go to Florida? LOL. Sure, I'm going to be in Sarasota, Florida. Come to Around the Clock Fitness, and we'll hit a workout or something. Ricky Dicky Wood says, Snapchat Q&A. Tregg, your channel has helped me lose 36 pounds in 2 months, so thank you. I'm not even going to read the rest of your question yet, because I just want to say that's fantastic. Like, it's not me that's helped you, maybe a little bit of motivation here or there, but like, that's awesome. The amount of work and dedication that you've had to push to lose 36 pounds in 2 months, man, that's awesome. So seriously, keep up the hard work. That means so much that you would give me any credit for that, because the amount of work that you've had to put into that, I'm proud of you for doing that. So congratulations and keep pushing. My question is, could you give some advice on improving my deadlift and lateral raises? Improving your lateral raises, just do them more often and start at a semi-light weight so you can get your form down and really kind of build that shoulder mobility first, because if you don't even have the shoulder mobility to do your raises, they're just going to be sloppy and you're not going to be getting any stronger, and the muscle you build is not going to have good range of motion. So make sure you are starting with a light enough weight that you can build up good form, and same thing with deadlifts. Start light, check your ego at the door, and work on your form. Once you get your form down, you can really build on top of that, but unless you have your form down, you're setting yourself up for injury and failure. So start with some lighter weights. Also, doing front squats is an exercise, for me at least, that has helped tremendously with my deadlifts. So I would say that would be a good exercise to throw in on your leg days. Next question, Aubrey says, work sucks, help. Well, my best advice for you, since you did just send me a Snapchat here on your phone, would be to go to your YouTube app. Open up your YouTube app, actually, just like I did right here, and go to your search tab. Type in Tregg Fisher, just like that. Hit search. Once you've searched Tregg Fisher, you'll see right here, you can click on that actually to pull up his profile here on YouTube. He has a ton of videos, 300 plus actually, that could keep you occupied and entertained for hours on end. So you can just kind of go through, maybe check out some of his playlists, check out some of his most recent videos, subscribe if you're entertained, and I think it would be a good time. You can definitely be entertained for a couple hours. It definitely helps. It's definitely going to help you at work. Alright, and it looks like last question is from Kyle J. He says, Q&A question, have you ever been tempted to take steroids or get stronger or bigger? And also, if you were to ever come to the UK, what would you most want to do and see? If I ever came to the UK, I would just want to spend that entire time exploring all the different cool places there are there, because in my opinion, there's been so much history that has happened in Europe, everywhere in Europe. There's just been so much history that has happened, and for me, I went to school to be a history teacher, so I'm really drawn to traveling and doing things like that. So I would definitely want to just spend all my time traveling while I'm there, and I think it would be so much fun. But have I ever been tempted to take steroids to get bigger or stronger? Honestly, no. For me, my journey has been very consistent. Once I found out what works for me, if I am eating right and doing all of the things I need to do with proper programming to get stronger, or eating in a caloric surplus to get bigger, I can see progress. Plus, I'm only 24 years old, so my genetic potential has not even been close to being reached yet, so there's really no point unless I just want to speed up those results. And honestly, for me, I enjoy training so much and pushing myself every single day in the gym that to take a shortcut like that, in my opinion, is lazy, unless you are trying to compete at a very big national, international level like the NPC or the IFBB, because a lot of those guys, to be competitive, you do have to jump on the juice. So in my opinion, for just a normal guy like me that is trying to preach consistency, preach health, preach all these different things, it would kind of be out of character for me to not be practicing what I preach and just kind of cheating and taking the easy way out. So that's just my opinion on taking steroids. I'm not going to judge anybody that does it, because it's your own body. You do what you want to with it, but for me, I don't want to take that easy way out. I enjoy the process, and you know what? I'm happy with my results. So that's my answer to whether or not I've been tempted to take steroids or not. But that was the last question for this Q&A. Thank you guys so much for asking every single one of those questions, because without your guys' questions, videos like this wouldn't even be possible. And honestly, these videos are my favorite ones to make, because I feel like they're a little bit more personal. You guys get to know more about me. I get to know more about you guys and what you guys want to know and learn. So thank you guys so much for this. And honestly, the Q&As, the social interaction between you guys and me, that's my favorite part of doing YouTube. It's my favorite part of doing social media, because without the interactions, social media would be dead. So thank you guys again so much for your questions. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like this video, go hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed, I'm looking at you, Aubrey. Go down and hit that red subscribe button. It'll help you at work. So thanks again so much for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.